Let them know when you're going off.
If you're good.
They coordinate with Rob, who's running the boats, who's turning the propellers. So this is a safety thing, guys. You're diving on a wreck, of course, today, so I recommend not penetrating it, but you know, it's up to your training what to do. Once you're off the boat, you're on your own, as with any other dive. Scott over there in the corner, hands up for Scott. He's going to do the dive talk, actually.
Scott.
He's been on the wreck more than anybody else here, except for Colin, who lived on it. Thanks, Colin. Go ahead.
This is not an ARSBC wreck, so it's a natural wreck with all rigging and equipment intact. So there's lots of sharp edges, lots of things that you could get tangled in. So just keep your eyes open above, below, and around you. Make sure you don't bump into anything or get tangled where you don't want to.
Fishing was a big part, you know. The good thing on a summer's day out there up the coast, it was pretty nice. Every couple of days we would scrub the decks down with this sort of a little bit of an acid bleach to maintain them. We cruise anywhere from 10 to 12 knots, depending what we're doing. We bought 3 of these vessels. Were built, the Rider, the Ready, and the Racer on this coast. There was more, the Relay, and another one that were on the east coast. The Rider was decommissioned first because she was being belonged to fisheries, and somebody had bought her and towed her up, and then she got broke free and went onto the rocks by Brooks Peninsula. It was a 2-week on, 2 weeks off. We basically, there was 11 of us there. There was captain, the mate, chief engineer, second engineer, cook, and then a leading seaman, 2 oilers, and 3 seamen. One would be on the west coast of Vancouver Island. The other one would be north of Cape Caution, up to Prince Rupert. So our main task was the fishing fleet rescues. If you come into the wheelhouse, you come down the starboard side, there's a ladder down and goes into the captain's cabin, which is, the engine room was accessed through the stack flat, through the small opening. Then on each side you had 1 main and 1 generator. The generator on the starboard side was hard mounted and ran the fire pumps. We would run her for the first week because the entire vessel would vibrate for gear.
Hydraulic steering?
It was it was cabled, actually.
Cable?
Yeah. So and we also had emergency steering gear. Up top, on top of and inside the rescue room, there was a large locker for gear, various tanks for the O2 and various other stuff that's probably not there anymore. On top is the rescue room was the HIAB. That HIAB was to lift. We generally had an Avon Sea Rider and a Mark III Zodiac that we would deploy.
The reason that the Ready is sitting at such an angle is that when it went down, it landed on an old fishing boat. So it's believed to be a wood-hulled signed fisher boat built around the 1950s. And it's in much worse condition than the Ready.
We went through some pretty nasty seas in these things. You know, they brought us home, and thankful, and like any vessel, you get attached to it. They weren't the most comfortable. It was a fun life, though. But you had to be very close. You lived cheek by jowl with everybody. So it was an interesting time. They're not the type of boats that people would want to serve on nowadays. People nowadays aren't used to that kind of lifestyle, but it was a different generation where there was no internet, no satellite we had a radio phone that worked sometimes, and basically you went away until you landed somewhere where you could call home. The only time you ever heard anything personally was if there was good news, like a baby being born or somebody died or something like that. So some of the fisheries are coming back.
Okay.
So there's not as many boats fishing. The Racer and the Rider were replaced by the George Jacobson and the Gordon Reed, which are a 500 class cutter. Much bigger, much more capable vessels. Still rolled a lot, but a lot more comfortable living quarters. There was the Heritage Marine Society bought all these vessels with the intent of moving them up to the Marine College and using them as training vessels. that never panned out. They came up here. That society went defunct. Currently, the provincial government is looking at ways and means to dispose of the vessels.